In the late 80s and early 90s, platforming games were one of the most popular genres of video games, so much so that the market was flooded with so many of them. Lots of them good, countless amounts of them utter garbage, made by companies trying to make a quick buck and cash in on the popularity. But when developers got it right, fuck did they get it right. And Capcom got it right. Over and over and over and over. Ask anyone who the best developers of platformers were back then, and I guarantee Capcom will pop up in the majority, if not all of everyone's top 3 answers. So I've decided to compile a list of my top 5 favorite Capcom platformers on the Nintendo Entertainment System. What an original idea, right? A top 5. No one does that shit.
Number 5.
Street Fighter 2010 is a game that was released under the Street Fighter franchise's name and served as kind of a spin-off of sorts. In all actuality, it had absolutely nothing to do with the Street Fighter series, but regardless, Capcom pumped out a solid, toughest balls platformer. The story says your name is Ken, implying that you're playing as Ken from Street Fighter, although this was only done during localization. You're some kind of cyborg, police officer, scientist, or some shit, I don't know. You're pretty much RoboCop, and you're avenging your friend or something. I don't know. Anyway, this game's great. The goal of each stage, unlike the typical get from point A to point B platformers at the time, is to defeat the target enemy, which is pictured at the beginning of each stage, and then slip through a portal before time runs out. The concept of having to find the portal and then escape adds a nice level of difficulty and makes you sweat just a little bit at the end of each stage. This is something that definitely set this game apart from other platformers of its time. This game's often overlooked, and I think it did a lot of cool shit, so it deserves a spot on this list.
Number 4.
Gargoyle's Quest 2 is a follow-up to the original game on the Game Boy. Oddly enough, it's a spin-off based on the annoying-ass Red Demon from Ghosts 'n Goblins. However, this game has quite a bit more depth than Ghosts 'n Goblins itself. It has some really cool mechanics like short bursts of flight and the ability to cling to walls, which makes for a lot of very interesting and unique platforming. What's different about this game is that it has an overworld with towns and buildings you can explore. There's people to talk to and places to see. It's got some tastefully thrown in RPG elements, which I think work well within the context of the game. I normally hate things like this, but I think this game got it right. When mixing genres, it's very important to never make the added elements seem forced or unnatural or detached from the game. While my experiences with games like Simon's Quest and Zelda 2 felt hindered by tacked-on RPG elements, this one feels very natural and organic. The game's really good, just play it. You know, it's really hard to be funny when there's talking about games I like.
Number 3.
I couldn't not include my favorite game franchise of all time. Mega Man 4 was the first Mega Man game I ever played, and it set the bar for so many games to come after. It's fucking incredible. Most people talk about how Mega Man 2 is the best, but nah, fuck that. This game brought Mega Man to a whole new level and added a game mechanic that's now a franchise staple. The Charge Shot! I find it surprising that so many people are in love with the second game, because having the Charge Shot in Mega Man games just feels so second nature now, like it's been there all along. How can you not have the Charge Shot? The game is unplayable, 0 out of 10.
I'm just kidding, I love you.
Also carried over is the slide maneuver from Mega Man 3. This game just really feels like a true culmination of the games preceding it. The music, as always, is catchy and energizing, and I happen to think that the Robot Masters are also pretty interesting this time around. God, I fucking love Mega Man.
I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life.
Number 2.
Based off of a comic strip from 1905, this is one of the very first video games I ever played in my entire life. God damn it, I love it. It's probably one of the most unique platformers in the history of ever. The entire tone surrounding Little Nemo the Dream Master is almost a paradox of sorts. Throughout the whole game, it's hard to know exactly how you're supposed to feel. I mean, it's got this cartoony, happy, dream-themed vibe to it, but the whole game is very dark, almost eerie. It's not often that a game can invoke sensations of joy and anxiety simultaneously, and it was very confusing to experience as a kid. Whether it be from throwing candy at animals and then possessing their bodies from the inside like some kind of parasitic demon, or just the pretty scenic view and captivating music. The game's weird as hell, and something about it just kept drawing me in time and time again.
Number 1!
I'm picking 2 Mega Man games for the same list. Sorry. I'm not sorry. Okay, look, I tried to not be Mega Man biased while compiling this list, but I don't give a shit. Mega Man is great, and I love him, and it's my video, so fuck it! Often overlooked because of the fact that the Mega Man formula and assets had been rehashed over and over on the NES, Mega Man 6 is a great game with a lot of cool elements that I feel never really got the credit they deserve. While being one of the easier Mega Man games, Mega Man 6 is easily the most visually impressive. This time around, the Robot Masters and their stages are geographically themed, which aesthetically added some immersive immersive level design. This game also introduced the Rush Adapter, which is arguably the coolest and most OP Mega Man power-up ever. You know, as much as people say that Mega Man has been beaten into the ground, I never disliked any classic Mega Man games, and in fact, with the exception of the X series, it wasn't until they started messing with the formula that they fucked the whole franchise up. What even is this shit? This is not Mega Man. Anyway, I had a really hard time ranking Mega Man games because I think they're all incredible. And while this may be my favorite one today, my opinion will probably change by the time I'm done editing this video. If you like what you just saw and you'd like to see more, click right over there by that arrow and that'll take you to the last video I released. I did a review on a shitty game called Yo Noid. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you check out this other video I did with some Australian guy who looks like Thor but with less muscles. Don't forget to subscribe if you, for some reason, like listening to me babble into a microphone.